This has been a long time coming, my friend. The return of Lucas and Lucas. It's not a radio show, it's a podcast, hopefully the first of many moving forward, alongside my good friend, my partner in crime, as always, Mr. Lucas Frankel from the beautiful state of New Jersey, who's now residing somewhere in the miserable state of Connecticut. Lucas, how you doing, bud?
It is great to be back. Obviously, it brings back memories of the Lucas and Lucas show in college. The favorite thing I did in college, and it wasn't really close.
Should I go grab our radio award? It's sitting in the front of my house right now.
Mine is, I want to say it's on my parents' stand in front of the TV. I believe that's where it is.
It was the first journalism award I've ever won. I'm still not sure what we did to win. I don't even know what the award was, to be honest.
I remember what we did to win. They couldn't think of anyone else to give the award to, so they could do that.
Hey, I'll take it. However we got it, I will take it. Franco, this has been about 5 years since the last time we've done something like this. We've done a couple of random podcasts throughout the years, but it feels good to be back. It feels like I'm back in my natural habitat as the world kind of resumes some semblance of normalcy. It just feels good to be back and to discuss.
Nothing about this is normal, for the record. There's not a single thing about any of this that is normal at all.
We're closer to normal now than we were 6 months ago, though. As we start to get back to normalcy, this makes me feel even closer to regular life now that I can debate you and your horrendous takes.
By the way, so the reason I came up with this Zoom idea is I was listening to Bill Simmons, and he said, "Oh, doing podcasts is so easy. All you do is do a Zoom." And I was like, before that, I was trying to think of the camera, getting a whole setup situation, an audio program, and then I was like, holy crap, this is a lot easier than I thought. I actually don't need to do all this complicated stuff. So we'll see how this turns out and move from there.
Did you fix your laptop? Last question before we start.
No, I can't get this is my other, I have two laptops. This is my other laptop that's much more updated. The other one I have I've had it since freshman year of college, and it's on its last legs.
I can imagine. All right. Well, speaking of last legs, the Yankees seem to be on their last legs, 21-21 after a couple embarrassing losses in a row. Franco, I know you have watched every game. Please just unleash on this team. They deserve to be eviscerated.
I never thought there would be a moment in my life where I am numb to the New York Yankees, and their losses, it's they don't even affect me anymore. It's just it is what it is, and I've sort of just moved past it. And it's sad because the Yankees of all my teams, whether it's the Jets, the Devils, the Nets, all of those teams have had, have been in purgatory in their sports for as long as I can remember. But throughout my life, I've had one source of pride. The one team I can count on is the Yankees, and I don't know what's happened. They've just completely fallen off a cliff. They have seemingly quit. There's no mental toughness. They're just rolling over. They have some of the worst players I have ever seen play professional baseball in my life. It starts with Mike Ford, who is the single worst baseball player in the history of Major League Baseball. He's a great story coming out of Princeton and wherever he went to, whatever league school he went to. And the fact that he made the major leagues as an undrafted guy, it's remarkable. He had some great moments last year, but it's over. He just pops out to first base or grounds into the shift every single time. It is over for him. I can't believe he's still on the roster. And don't even get me started on Mike Tauchman, Tyler Wade, just complete abominations of baseball players. Tauchman, it's like he got zapped of any talent he had. 3-1 pitch last night. I mean, I've never seen a guy just get fastballs right down the middle time after time. He just can't do anything with them. It's so frustrating. And then Gary Sanchez, I've defended him every single day of my life since he came up to the Yankees in 2016. But when he dropped that pop-up last night in foul territory, I mean, I screamed. I just couldn't. That was just he had just come back, and it was supposed to be the game where Gary Sanchez, earns back his pinstripes. He had a situation where 2 on, a chance to, get the Yankees back at the game. He strikes it out, and then the next inning drops a pop-up. Just completely inexcusable. This is Major League freaking baseball. Catch the ball!
2 things on Sanchez. 1, I still can't stand that he kneels behind the plate now. That drives me absolutely nuts. Unbelievably just awkward looking. It drives me nuts. And 2, when Seattle announced their NHL team, the Kraken, you said they can't have that name because Gary Sanchez owns the Kraken nickname. Franco, would you like to rescind that statement now after how putrid Sanchez has been all season?
I mean, so many guys have been so putrid. It's so unfair to pin this all on Sanchez. I mean, I think he's sort of been the scapegoat, which is a little bit unfair, as I mentioned.
He strikes out every time he's up. Every time he's at bat, he strikes out.
I mean, it can hit a beach ball. I mean, it's unbelievable.
No.
But I'm not putting this. I can't put this all on Sanchez. That's not fair.
It's not all Sanchez.
Torres, by the way, another guy that's supposed to be this MVP caliber player, has seemingly forgot how to play baseball too. And the only guy on the team that's actually like producing like more than we thought that they should have is Voit. Because after that, you look at second base. It's, LeMahieu was scorching hot. Has really, really cooled down in the past week or two. Shortstop, Gleyber Torres, complete debacle. Urshela is on the IL. We talked about Sanchez. Brett Gardner is horrendous. People say you can't release Brett Gardner, but why is he still on the team? Leadership, he's clearly provided none, because if he had actual leadership, this wouldn't be happening. Aaron Hicks is hitting like 200. People say they love his walks, but man, he's not doing anything either. We mentioned Talkman. We mentioned Tyler Wade. Tyler Estrada, man, he should be in Double-A. I mean, they just don't have enough guys, and people say they don't want Sanchez, but you look behind Sanchez. Kyle Higashioka is one of the other worst catchers in all of baseball. Eric Kratz is 45, and there's a reason why he's never had like a real starting job in his whole major league career. The big mistake Cashman made, and I tweeted this out the other day, was letting Austin Romine walk. That guy was so big for us and so clutch, so gritty. He actually provided a ton of leadership, and it's really sad that he's no longer with the team, because if he was with the team, he'd providing a huge spark right now, and it's just not good. The fact that the Orioles are going to make the playoffs over us is just something I'll never accept, and it's why ultimately I will not view this season as legitimate. The Dodgers are going to win the World Series as expected, but beyond that, like, I can't view anything that happens this season as something that I'll look back on as, the 2020 season, that was a great year, or, oh yeah, they were great that year. For me, it means nothing. It means nothing. It's irrelevant. Anything that happens this year is irrelevant.
The stamp of Frankel has been approved. I will say, I saw the standings, and the Yankees are half a game up on Baltimore right now. What's wild, I can't name a single player on Baltimore.
The Orioles' win total going into the season was 20.5. 20.5.
I couldn't name a single player on Baltimore. I think you seem angry, and rightfully so. The Yankees have made you angry. Now, I think I'm lucky. I'm in Texas. I didn't buy the season pass for the Yankees. It was only 60 games. I didn't think the price was worth it. I've only watched 3.
You can watch any game you want to watch. You don't have to get any stupid package. There's a way to stream any game you want. That is.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I have a work laptop. I'm not trying to get my work laptop infested with viruses.
Don't have to.
Sports or whatever. So I didn't get the Yankee pass. I watched 3 games all season. They were all early in the year. So the Yankees have kind of been like out of sight, out of mind for me, which is why. Look at me. I'm smiling. I'm happy, Frankel.
Garrett Cole has lost
miserable over there.
This is the sign of the apocalypse.
No, listen, Garrett Cole's, last 3 starts have been tough. He won, 29 in a row and then lost 3 straight. Like, everything the Yankees touch right now has been turned into crap.
I mean, you tell me right now they won't win another game the rest of the season, I believe it.
No, come on. There's 18 games left.
I believe it.
There's 18 games left. They're not going 0-18.
You don't tell me how many games there are left. I just don't see them winning. I mean, I think that they probably should. The law of averages says they probably will win another game. But if you tell me right now, the Yankees will go 0-18 the rest of the way, yeah, absolutely. I see it.
You're out of your mind. There's a chance the Yankees still make the playoffs and then go on a run. They have the talent, but
they look
deflated.
I feel like the only way they get their mojo back is when Judge comes back.
Yeah, they just look like they're out of it. And once again, I've never
seen a slump like this. And you know what? The other thing is, like, if this were a normal season, we'd be in the early middle May, and with 4.5, 5 months to go, and all the time in the world to get back on track. But this sprint to the end of the season, it makes things so out of whack, and it's like it doesn't even feel like it's freaking September. It doesn't feel like it at all. No,
the short season is weird. People are going to put asterisks next to it no matter who wins. The Dodgers are probably the best team in baseball regardless of a half season.
No. People whose teams do well are not going to put asterisks next to it. I am putting an asterisk next
to it. But there's going to be an asterisk next to it in all sports. Basketball's going to get an asterisk even if the Lakers or any team wins now, the Bucks are knocked out. Any team's going to get an asterisk because it's such a unique, weird season. But sometimes that makes it even more challenging. I don't think it's a discredited championship. It's just a weird championship. And, yeah, if your team sucks, the number one excuse, the easiest excuse to go to is it was a shortened season. Our team just didn't buy in. So I'm on board with you. Let's take that route with the Yankees. You got any last thoughts on the Yankees before we move to the NBA, Frank?
No. I mean, like I said, I'll be shocked if they win another game. And I really hope they just get I would have released Talkman during the game last night. I would have said, pack your bags, go home in the middle of the game.
Vontae Davis retired halftime of a Bills game a few years ago. If they cut Talkman before his second at bat in the 5th inning, I think I'd be on board with you as well. Let's talk a little basketball now, though, Frank. Miami upset Milwaukee. Boston's up 3-2 on Toronto. The Lakers won game 2 last night, and the Clippers, game 3 last night, and the Clippers are up 2-1 on Denver. How surprised are you that Milwaukee was able to make Miami was able to make Milwaukee just look like an absolute shell of themselves?
I feel like people say this all the time, but like, look at the Bucks roster, and it's not eye-popping at all. I mean, the fact that they went 57-12 before play stopped is like shocking to me. Because look up and down their team, Chris Middleton, they just don't have enough like Bledsoe. They don't have enough like Brooke Lopez. Like I look at them and I'm not nothing about their group of guys they have together is like doesn't scare me. I feel like they're beatable, and I think we saw that.
So Eli, my best friend, my former teammate, is one of the Heat video guys, and he had told me all year, we want to play Milwaukee in the playoffs. We think we could beat them. And I laughed at him from the get-go. This was back in October, November, December, before the quarantine. He said, we want Milwaukee. And I laughed, and I was proven dead wrong. Milwaukee has nobody, and I mean nobody, who can create offense for themselves. Middleton can do it a tad bit if he's called upon and needs to, but for the most part, he's a catch-and-shoot guy or off a pick and roll. When defenses tighten up in the postseason and it's not a run-and-gun game, Milwaukee proved they had no one. Even Giannis. Giannis can't go one-on-5. It's not one-on-one. People say, post up Giannis, let him go one-on-one. It's never one-on-one with Giannis. Miami had 4 guys' eyes attached to the Greek Freak and virtually said anyone else can try and beat us. Miami didn't, and Miami also just has 5, 6, 7 dudes who are just straight ballers, Frank. It's a tough – I don't know if they could score with Boston if Boston ends up winning. I think Miami –
it's going to be Celtics Heat, and it's going to be Lakers Clippers in the West.
Yeah, I think Boston ends up beating Miami, but Miami's proven me wrong time and time again.
I just can't see a team with Jimmy Butler as like the guy ever making like that. To me, is just he's not the type of guy that I view as like the best player in a finals.
Agreed. Oh, he's in my opinion, he's fringe top 20 player. He's on that back end of the top 20, 17, 18, 19, 20, somewhere in that range, and that's tough to do when you have a team like the Lakers or the Clippers with 2 top 10 guys.
You're not going to win the final. I didn't say win. I just said make.
Well, the one thing about Miami, though, they punked Milwaukee. I don't know if there's a team.
Milwaukee's not mentally tough. We saw that with Giannis. Giannis got exposed when he did that headbutt. That was the sign. That was the moment that it came real for me and probably a lot of other people that this guy's weak. He's mentally weak. He's soft, and they got it. And we saw that against Miami. It's the most mentally tough team. In the NBA is the Heat.
They straight punked him, and I don't know if there's a team I'd want to fight less than Miami. You take Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Jay Crowder, James Johnson. I mean, those dudes. There's a NBA team brawl. Miami has all my money, my life savings, I don't have any savings, but it's all going on Miami to pull that off.
The Bucks will never win a title with Giannis. Giannis is, he's saying all the right things. I don't want to get traded. I want to, build something here, that's all well and good. But here's the reality of the situation for Giannis. He's going to stick it out because he's so loyal, and he's not one of those guys who's bred to, jump to LA or, the super team. He wants
His brother's in LA.
Huh?
His brother's in LA.
That's all semantics. Anyway, because anyone's going to want Giannis' brother because they want to feel like if we have his brother, maybe we have shot at him. That's why Giannis' brother's in the league, because they want to feel like that if they had
both of them. The other one's in Dallas.
They can get Giannis, but Giannis is going to stick this out for another year or two in Milwaukee, and then when he loses again in the first or second round, eventually someone's going to get through to him. Hey, it's not happening in Milwaukee, so you're going to have to go somewhere else because no free agents are coming here. You're not going to get any great players to play with you. You're not going to get any great draft picks since you're going to be, a top 3 seed in the East every year. So your move, Giannis. Either you want to win a championship and, get that mantle on your resume, or you could just stick it on Milwaukee and never make the finals and be like a poor man's version of a Charles Barkley or a Karl Malone.
Well, he's won back-to-back MVP, or he's about to win back-to-back MVPs. I don't know if he's a poor man's Malone. He's never done that, or Barkley, really. I don't think Milwaukee's as far away from a title as you think they are. They can get.
We just talked about their roster. They have nobody. Who's coming there? Who are they getting?
If they could pull off Chris Paul.
Chris Paul doesn't elevate them to a freaking title contender. Are you kidding?
Once again,
puts them over the hump. 38-year-old Chris Paul.
You see how good he played against Houston in his first round series?
Chris Paul?
Yeah, absolutely. They don't have anyone like him on the team. And I think getting rid of Bledsoe is addition by subtraction. So that those two by itself, yes, I think.
In your mind, Chris Paul makes them a title favorite.
Look at the East. They were a title favorite this year. No one in the East.
They were. Like, you think Chris? I mean, maybe he provides the mental toughness they need. Who knows?
He's a clutch player. I mean, I know he's had some playoff struggles, but he's a guy you want with the ball in his hands late in a game. He could create. He could allow Giannis to kind of do what he does best without having the focus of.
I don't trust Paul to stay healthy the whole for the stretch. I know he was healthy this year, but he didn't make it past round one. I mean, I can't see Paul being the reason why that team gets over the hump. That's. I mean, he's gonna be what 30? He's gonna be like 38 years old. He
still played at an elite level this year though. He had his best season in about 5-6 years this year. I don't think Chris Paul's done, and I'm not sure exactly the salaries how that matches up, but they're a piece away from being a legit contender in the East. They already were a legit contender in the East this year without that piece. And like I said, Bledsoe would have to move to bring someone in. Getting him out is addition by subtraction. I don't think he's that far. At the same time, I wouldn't stay. I'd go to Dallas. If I could find my way to Dallas to join my brother, him and Luka together.
You mean LA or Dallas?
Giannis has two brothers. One in LA, one in Dallas. Yes. So I would go to Dallas. I don't know which one's which, but I would go to Dallas.
Giannis and who else?
I'll look it up, but he has two brothers. I can promise you that. I would go to Dallas.
The team to go to is the Warriors. Like, what are you kidding me? That's the team to go to, where you join Stephen, Clay, and Draymond.
They have to trade. They have to trade. Oh, he has a Kostas Antetokounmpo is part of the Lakers, and Giannis is now on Milwaukee. Milwaukee traded for him. So yeah, and he has a younger brother, Alex, who's about to go to college.
Where?
So, yeah. What did you say?
What school?
He's only a junior, so he hasn't decided yet.
So is he going to be one of the Steph Curry guys who makes it to Dublin because of his last name?
I take that back. ESPN tweeted in May, Giannis's brother Alex to skip college play in Europe.
He may not even make the NBA. Well, someone will probably sign him.
Well, someone will sign him. Yeah, he'll make the NBA, not necessarily because he's an NBA player. But yeah, I don't trade Giannis from the Bucks unless it's a Godfather offer like what OKC got for Paul George.
How many years does Giannis have left? Does he sign a max deal with them? Is he locked up?
Next year. Next year is his last year.
And he's leaving.
He's got one.
If they don't make it past the second round, what's the case for him staying?
He's loyal. That's it.
That's
it. That's it. All right, let's talk. Lakers or Clippers? Lakers, Clippers.
I can't with good faith pick against LeBron. How could you pick against LeBron? I know Kawhi is the ultimate
the Terminator
or what a Terminator claw, but I mean LeBron's the GOAT. I mean you saw these last two games, he's stepping up. I mean he had 29 in the first half. When LeBron wants to, he could score 100 points a game if he wanted to. He literally just drives to the basket every single time, and he's unstoppable. When he drives, it is unstoppable. He scores every time, single time.
LeBron in attack mode is the Lakers' key to winning a championship. And sometimes he gets too passive. Sometimes he wants to make the right basketball play.
The reason why they lost a couple of those early games is because he gets too passive.
That's
100% what it is.
What I just said, Frank. Yeah, when he's in attack mode, that is when the Lakers are at their best. Because he does draw 3 defenders' eyes at all times, and then that makes their mediocre outside shooters even more open. And God knows they need to be wide open to make it 3. Shout out to my guy Alex Caruso, but his 3-point shot needs a lot of work in the gym.
How about Rondo?
Playoff Rondo last night with 30 points or 23 points.
21 points, 12 in the fourth quarter.
Unbelievable. He outshined LeBron in the fourth.
I remember Rondo with the Celtics. They would just let him they would give him 30 feet of space to dare him to shoot. He never hit it.
They still got
a 3-point shot. He's one of those guys. I guess if Rondo could make a shot, then I guess there's hope for Ben Simmons at some point.
Yeah, well, they're playing socially distant defense on Rondo, and he made them pay. So
they won't be doing that anymore. I can tell you that.
We'll see if Houston changes. All right, Frank, let's talk about NFL real quick. Your Jets. Can I say something first about your Jets?
Say whatever. I mean, I'll just say my excitement level is 0, but go ahead.
As long as Adam Gase is your coach, the Jets will suck.
This isn't
he's the single worst coach in the NFL.
Why?
He's done nothing. He's had 2 different chances to be a head coach.
Why is he a bad coach?
He has produced nothing with two different opportunities now.
I mean, the playoffs the first year of Miami.
And then what happened right after that? Caved.
He just produced nothing.
Caved. They don't win a playoff game. They don't win a playoff game. It wasn't his roster. He has shown the inability. I know it's not on a coach, but there's no weapons around Darnold. Have you seen their starting receivers, Frank? Are you ready to watch?
Denzel Mims, Rashad Perriman, Chris Herndon, Le'Veon Bell.
How excited? On a scale of 1 to 10.
I just told you my excitement level is 0. Did you not hear me? Were you not listening?
Well, for that group in particular, I mean, that's a -3 then, right?
Why are you telling me that? I know the Jets are going to be terrible. Why do you have to tell me that and reiterate that? I have no excitement. I'm going to do cardio for every moment the Jets are playing. I'm going to be in ridiculous shape. I'll be looking like, the freaking Hulk when the season is over because I'll be doing 3 hours of cardio whenever the Jets play, which will be Sunday at 1 o'clock because we're not going to get a single primetime game. And they'll have Andrew Kettle on or the most, no-name announcer doing every single game. And it's going to be a complete debacle. I'm probably going to be in contention with the Jaguars for the first overall pick in the draft. Jacksonville's more atrocious than us, so we'll probably get the second pick. And who knows what we'll end up with, and that'll be that. So you don't have to tell me. I don't really want to. There's not much to say. They suck. They're irrelevant. They are irrelevant.
5-11 the ceiling.
That's what I said. Yeah, 5-11 is their. If all go, if they, I mean, they'll probably they'll be in a situation where they could win like 9 games and they'll blow a couple late. But I unless Darnold all of a sudden turns into Aaron Rodgers, which. I guess it's somewhat it is remotely plausible, then that's the only path. Is Darnold just, unbelievable connection with Mims and Perriman and Crowder and Herndon and is just lighting it up, but I don't see that.
More likely, Darnold gets mono again or turns into Aaron Rodgers?
Well, you can only get mono once, so he's not going to get mono again. But he can get the coronavirus, which will put him out for a few weeks.
So you're saying it's more likely he turns into Aaron Rodgers then? You heard it here first.
Well, it's possible to get mono twice. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure I remember I read up a bunch on this last year, and I was assured that he could not get mono twice.
More likely, he turns into Aaron Rodgers or he sees ghosts again on the field.
That was so unfair, by the way. That was so not fair. People say stuff like that all the time on the bench.
I know.
Don't play that audio. Like, what are you doing? Like, if you played everything that someone said on the bench or in a huddle, you know how many guys would get suspended or kicked out of the league?
Can I tell you a little backstory on that? So I asked
yourself. Sure, go ahead.
I asked the A&M guys when they get mic'd up on the SEC sidelines, what's the protocol for that? And so the NFL may be different, but at least in college football, the team gets approval of what the SEC or SEC network puts out from the sidelines, which means the Jets must have approved that soundbite.
They approved it, but I mean, like,
why in the world would they approve that for your franchise quarterback? Because they're inept. It just shows the entire ineptitude of the organization, top to bottom. They can't even protect the one savior or potential savior they have on the roster. Shame on you, Jets. Shame. I miss seeing you get this riled up over the Jets. This is why I'm glad we're doing this, Frank.
The whole blaming, like, who do I blame most for that? I mean, in a perfect world, the way the system works is you have to run it by the team. Someone is sitting in a booth and like, hey, like, ESPN has this clip. Do we have permission to run it? But I think they probably overstepped their bounds there, and it was very, very frustrating. I mean, that thing was just very upsetting to me, the fact that got out, because, like I said, people say stuff like that all the time, and it made Darnold look really bad, and it was completely unnecessary. That should never happen. It should never happen. In
the grand scheme of things, it wasn't a bad thing to say. He was alluding to the fact that they just looked like they were everywhere on defense, which happens a lot when you're a Jets quarterback and you have a play caller who can't call plays. So
a couple of rough years for your New York Football Giants.
But it turns around this year. Frankel, there are 2 trains leaving MetLife Stadium this year. The Joe Judge Express and the Daniel Jones Juggernaut. And I am the conductor of both. I think Joe Judge – well, let's start with Daniel Jones. He's a better-looking Eli Manning. That's the first thing. To be a New York Giants quarterback, you have to look like a squid. And he looks like a squid, but he's got a little more style. So I'm already in on that. He showed last year that he's a young quarterback. He's going to make mistakes. But when it's good, it is exceptional. He does things that Eli could never do, and Eli's my favorite athlete of all time. He has brought me more joy in this lifetime than you will ever understand, Frankel, with those 2 Super Bowls, because I don't think the Jets will ever win 2 in your lifetime. But
get out.
I love Daniel Jones. I think he's due for a massive sophomore season. I probably just jinxed him. He's probably going to suck now with the sophomore slump, but I like the weapons. I think the offensive line. I know they're starting 2 rookie tackles, which can spell disaster.
What's
Disaster.
the record this year? 8-8.
I said 7-9, best case 6-10, most likely. But I think this is
just hyping it up like they're gonna have like an unbelievable year.
You have to go through growing pains with a new team before they can be great. I think we're going to see some growing pains with the Giants, but this year will set up the future success of the franchise for years to come. Now, I know Belichick's coaching tree has not produced the greatest amount of disciples. Matt Patricia's been abysmal. Brian Flores looks good. Josh McDaniels mixed results. But 2 things about Joe Judge, 3 things stand out. Did you see the report the other day that they cut a practice player so he could go be with his newborn baby?
I didn't see that.
Frank? They paid the guy. They gave him his paycheck. They cut him so he could go take 2 weeks off to go be home with his newborn and said, we'll re-sign you after. So that shows he cares about his players. And when you care about your players, they care about you back. It's that synergy every good team needs. 2, I don't know a lot about coaching football. The idea to tape tennis balls to his players' hands so they can't hold in practice, genius.
So they can't hold?
They can't hold.
Oh, hold.
They had tennis balls taped to their hands so when they're playing defense, they can't grab. Your hands are stuck open. Genius.
I can't speak to any.
And 3, did you see him jump in mud for a fumble at the end of practice the other day?
I saw a bunch of people tweeting about that.
That was the greatest single video that quarantine has produced. The team loves Joe Judge. The jury has spoken. Mike Lucas says Giants
propaganda,
Super Bowl 2024 champion.
Anything like that makes it out on social media is they put it out with there's a plan in place.
And guess what? It could be like a Vegas buffet. I'm going to eat that crap up nonstop and go back for seconds, Frankel. That is the kind of content I need to get excited about a new head coach. When we haven't had a preseason game, we haven't really seen any scrimmages. We've been deprived of football. I need head coaches jumping into mud in front of his team, seeing his guys react and go ballistic for him. That is the kind of content I've been starving for. And yet, is he a good X's and O's coach? Guess what? I don't know. Do his players love him? Do I love him? Judge says, yes.
All right.
What do you think the Giants' record is? 6-10, probably around the right area?
6-10, 7-9, but I don't understand why you're so excited for a 6-10, 7-9 season.
Because it's going to be the start.
I would never get up for that. There is nothing.
It's going to be the start of something special.
What does that mean?
In 2 years, we're going to win the Super Bowl.
Okay, great.
And this will be the building block, the first year of that progression. The defense is still abysmal. The Giants' defense couldn't stop Swiss cheese. The Jets might be able to score 14 points against them. That's how bad that defense is. But, yeah, offensively, I'm excited.
See how it goes.
I'm excited.
Lamar Jackson, what are your thoughts?
Mark Jackson?
Lamar Jackson.
Oh, Lamar, he's obviously an unbelievable playmaker, dynamic. He has to improve as a passer across the middle if the Ravens are going to take that next step. But I'd be shocked if he doesn't put up stupid numbers again this year.
He needs to win a playoff game before I start thinking about him as I know he's got an MVP, but win a playoff game, then we can have an actual conversation.
No, I agree.
You forgot about Steve Nash.
We'll get to Nash. We'll end with Nash. But who are your 7 playoff teams from each conference?
All right,
If you haven't done this, I'll read you mine first.
All right, go ahead.
In the AFC, I got the Ravens as the 1 seed getting that first round bye. The Chiefs winning the AFC West. The Colts winning the NFC South. The Patriots winning the NFC South. And the Bills, Titans, and Broncos as your 3 wildcard teams. And in the NFC, I got the 49ers with the 1 seed, Cowboys, Saints, Vikings winning their divisions, Eagles, Falcons, and Bucks as your
No Seahawks?
No Seahawks.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And as I say that, I probably missed them as I was going through my list. So, but I'm sticking with it. Yeah, now that I realize I missed them, I'm sticking with it. The Packers are my 2020 bust team. Yeah, the Seahawks probably should be in it. That's an omission on my end. Hand up. My fault.
All right, so 7 teams in the AFC. What is it? 3 division winners?
4 division winners, 3 wild cards.
Sorry, 4 division winners, 3 wild cards?
Yeah.
All right, so Bills, that's easy. Ravens. Man, AFC South. Wow. Does Houston? Man, obviously they have Watson, but after that, I mean, I don't trust Felber. The Colts aren't making the playoffs. That's just not happening. I think Tennessee regresses, so I like Houston to win that division.
Oh my God, that's such an off-base prediction, but okay.
I just don't. I can't see Ryan Tannehill doing it. I mean, I feel like last year was the best year Derrick Henry will ever have. And I can't see Tannehill having another magical year like that. I can't foresee that happening. So that's why I like Houston. In the West, I like Kansas City, obviously. So those are the 4 division winners. Then I need 3 wild cards. I like Pittsburgh. I like Cincinnati. Might be a sneaky playoff team. I think Burrow might make it. It's my bold prediction. And then a 7th team. Everyone's so high on Denver. Man, is Denver going to be that good?
They lost Von Miller hurt his leg yesterday. He's going to miss the season.
7th team could be Cleveland.
Yeah.
Those are my 7 in the AFC. NFC, I like Dallas to win that division. I like Green Bay and Minnesota. I like New Orleans and Tampa. San Francisco, Seattle.
Bills over the Patriots? You think the Patriots missed the playoffs this year?
I think the Patriots missed the playoffs this year.
I'm not betting against Bill Belichick till he's retired.
I mean, they can't freaking Newton like. They had a bunch. They had Hightower, Chung. A ton of guys opt out on defense.
The defense is going to be weak. Playmakers
look at their offense. They have Edelman, but beyond that, like, who scares you? James White?
Playmakers are horrible, but I'm just not picking against Bill Belichick. I'm just not.
I don't think they made it. I think they would win 6 or 7 games and miss the playoffs.
All right, can we talk Nash and we'll wrap it up?
Let's do it.
Frank, he's a top 50 player of all time, 2-time MVP, beloved teammate, was the smartest dude on the court his entire career, especially late in his career with Phoenix. Was praised in Golden State for his ability to help develop players, which is a key trait for any team with a high salary cap tied to a couple of players that's going to need to rely on young guys. And they kept Jacques Vaughn. I'm not sure Sean Marks could have made a better hire. I honestly don't know. And when I say Sean Marks, I know Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving really made the hire. But Sean Marks, as the GM, could not have done a better job picking, in my opinion, the ideal candidate to run the Nets moving forward. I don't think they hit a home run, a grand slam, a 3-point.
What does that mean? So what do you expect them to so what does that mean for next year? What do you expect?
If Kevin Durant's healthy, the Nets should be, in my opinion, the favorites to win the East.
Yeah, theoretically. But any team with Kyrie Irving, to me, is destined to fail.
Oh, that's valid. I have been a Kyrie critic my entire.
I'll never forget. You called me the day they got Kyrie and Katie. You're like, greatest day in Nets history.
It is.
And that was the dumbest thing to say because it's not going to pan out, and you're going to end up like an idiot. And they're not going to.
The fact they signed those two.
That's the perfect hire. What the hell does that mean? What the hell does that mean?
I missed it. Say it again.
What is Nash? You said Nash being like the perfect fit and the best hire they can make. What does that even mean? Like, what do you expect?
They need to bring someone in who both Katie and Kyrie respect. A 2-time MVP, a top 50 player ever, is someone who can do that.
All right, but your name is like accolade as a player, but like that means nothing. Magic Johnson's been a coach. Michael Jordan's been involved in this.
Look at some of the guys recently who have gone straight into coaching without any. Steve Kerr,
Derek Fisher.
They're not all hits. They're not all hits, but Steve Kerr's done it. Doc Rivers.
All right, Steve Kerr was a general manager, spent years in the broadcasting. It's not like you retired went straight into coaching, but okay, go ahead.
Same thing with Nash. He was a player development guy for Golden State for 4 years.
All right, they were. But I'd be shocked if it did.
Doc Rivers turned into a pretty good head coach. Turned into a pretty good head coach, right? Yeah,
after years and years and years. It's not like he retired and was like boom right away.
Listen, so who would your number one candidate have been? If they could have got Popovich, then yeah, he would have been my number one.
I have no hope. On paper it looks great. Steve Nash is one of those guys who, you mentioned the resume. Obviously, he respects Katie and Kyrie. Well, obviously respect him, which is huge. But there's just the pieces right now, like the pieces of the puzzle just don't fit right now in my eyes. Like
the Nets are moving
Kyrie and KD. Then you have LeVert, Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, like Jared Allen sucks.
I could assure you that Dinwiddie and LeVert, one of the two won't be on the team next year. One of those two are getting traded.
I need to see what the roster looks like, and I can't with good faith get my hopes up for this team.
But take the roster out. Do you like the Nash hire? Does he at least excite you?
Because he's a guy that, as you said, is viewed as one of the smartest guys in the league, and obviously KD respects him. But they need. I don't know. I don't trust Kyrie and KD's leadership to take this team where it needs to go. Hopefully, I'm wrong. We'll see. I'm not going into next season like you, like jumping out of my pants. Oh my God, this is our year. Favorites to win the East. Let's go. Like,
If
I would
KD
never
is
allow
healthy-
myself to do that.
If KD is healthy, look around the East. They should be the favorites. I was just gonna say this though, Frank. Before we got into TV, you did an internship at Fox 25 in Boston, and you said that helped set you up for success with your TV job, right? You would say those guys, Chad, Tom, all those guys, Butch.
That was, I mean, my hands down my favorite internship.
So Steve Nash is a player development guy working part-time with Golden State, with Steve Kerr, with Bob Myers, the best.
Steve Kerr didn't even want to coach.
That's like that's a little bit like it's a little bit like an internship, right? Steve Nash had the best 4-year internship
But
you could possibly have to set you up.
I mean,
for
unless
coaching.
KD and Nash have been discussing this since they first laid eyes on each other. Steve Nash never intended on doing this. It's almost like he got guilted into it by Durant.
That's making assumptions. I think Steve Nash always wanted to get into coaching.
But no, I don't know about that. I read that he's got little kids and wanted to start his family and was very comfortable.
And that's why he took 4 years off or 4 or 5 years off from playing to a part-time job with Golden State.
He didn't have to do this.
I think he wanted to do this, and that's why it's the perfect.
I think Durant was like, "Yo, I want you as my coach," and he basically guilt-tripped him into doing it.
Listen, with
why would anyone want to freaking coach Kyrie Irving?
With a little kids and a new wife, you want to spend as much time with them as possible. And then after a while, I'm sure as we've seen with a lot of relationships on quarantine, spending too much time at home can drive a person crazy. So maybe this is the perfect, hey, I did my due diligence as a father, as a new husband, and now it's time for me to get back to work. And guess what? I'm hyped about it. I think he's the perfect fit. Who knows if it'll work out? We'll find out in 3-4 years, Frank. But KD, Kyrie, Steve Nash, that's 4 MVPs or 3 MVPs between the 3 of them. Really between the 2 of them. Kyrie doesn't have them, but he's a finals MVP. And yeah, I'm hyped.
All right, all I can say about that is I'll be sitting there, kicking my feet up, waiting for it to fail.
All right, this is Wednesday, September 9th, Frank. Tomorrow we get the first NFL game, Texans-Chiefs. Just give me a score prediction before we head out of here.
I mean, all the wise Vegas guys are all over Houston, but I think Kansas City wins 27-17.
I'm gonna go high. I think Houston's gonna be miserable this year. I think they're gonna be horrible. I got Kansas City 37, Houston 14. I think Houston's gonna suck. They're gonna suck. No DeAndre Hopkins.
I'd love to get this on Apple Podcasts. I don't know how to do that. Hopefully, you have more expertise than I do in that regard.
We'll figure something out moving forward. Hopefully, y'all like this enough that we'll do it again.
Download, subscribe.
Fun as always, my dude. Appreciate you hanging out, and we'll do it again soon.
Where we hit end? We hit end here. How do we
leave this in? I'm not gonna tell you how to stop it. Leave this in.
Have
you never recorded a Zoom before?
Stop recording. Got it. Goodbye, everybody.